on the subject of A Matter of Pride, the fanfiction. So, we get another Chrysalis fanfiction. I've got to say, the fandom, when they do Chrysalis Redemption, they do Chrysalis Redemption pretty good. First of all, I have to bring up integration. The definitive Chrysalis Redemption. Integration was amazing and really made me think Chrysalis was a great character. But let's go with this one. So, what happens is this is right after a Canterlot wedding. What happens is Chrysalis is so mad and angry that she rallies the forces that she has left that didn't abandon her right after it, and they march to Ponyville. Now that's a far distance, like really far, because Canterlot is already like what 40 something miles or 39 miles or whatever from Ponyville. So if she got hit further than that, then it had to have been a good 100 plus miles. So they do a death march, and they're dropping left and right. They're dropping like flies, for lack of a better term. And what happens is she gets connected. She gets close to a really. She gets close to a really. She gets close to a really determined drone. So what happens is she finally arrives in Sweet Apple Acres, and she marches and she sees Twilight, Rarity, and Applejack, and she shouts for the changelings to rally to her, and none come, and she's like completely just confused, and she looks behind herself, and there's no changelings are left except for the one. And she's like, where are all of them? And he's like, they've all fallen. And he's in a really bad shape. Like, he's on his last leg. He can barely stand up. And Chrysalis swallows her pride, and she picks him up, and she walks towards Twilight, Rarity, and Applejack. And she's like, they're like, what are you here for? And she's like, I originally was coming to seek vengeance. And they get real defensive, and she's like, but I can't. And she turns and shows them, and Twilight's like, a death march then. And she's like, yes. And she's like, so I ask you, please help him, please feed him. And they're like, oh no, like, we're definitely not doing that. And like, Chrysalis starts crying, like she just starts crying, like she realizes that she's got nothing, and that her pride, where it's gotten her, is just to nothing. And she begs them, she gets on her knees, and she's like, please help him. She's like, he's all I have left. And Rarity, being generosity, is like, I'll feed him. And they're like, Twilight and Applejack are like, no, like, what the heck? And Rarity's like, if she promises to leave, then I'll feed him. And Chrysalis is like, of course, I promise I'll leave. Just please help him. And like, he's getting worse and worse. And she's like, please, like, he doesn't have much time or whatever. So Rarity feeds him. He feeds off of Rarity, and he's like super fine, like really quick. And Rarity gets real cold. She's like, I'm so cold. And Applejack's like, it's okay, we'll take you back to the boutique and you'll be fine. And the drone is like, now we can take revenge and blah, blah, blah. And Chrysalis is like, no. She's like, we're leaving. And the drone's like, okay. And Twilight's like, where will you go? And she's like, there are more places than just Equestria where love is abundant. And Twilight's like, so you'll go conquer somewhere else? And Chrysalis is like, do I look like I'm in any shape to be conquering anyone? And Twilight really doesn't say anything. And Chrysalis is like, maybe we'll see each other again. And Twilight is like, honestly, she's like, I hope not. And Chrysalis is like, the feeling is mutual. And Chrysalis leaves, and the little drone is like, why didn't we attack them? And Chrysalis is like, you honestly think that the two of us could have taken the three of them? And I really like this line. It made me laugh because it's like, thank you for acknowledging that, writer. The drone is like, you defeated Celestia. You're stronger than even her. And like, it's Chrysalis is like, it made her. She's like super proud, and she's like, even though he left out the whole important detail that the fact that the only reason she even stood a chance against Celestia was because of Shining Armor's love. And I'm like, yep, that is it. Chrysalis can't do flip against, but who knows how they did later. Oh, they just got to throw into blah blah blah, and it's anyways. Again, Fanon being better than canon, and she's like, it was a matter of pride. She's like, I gave my word, and she's like, and I had to keep it. And then it's really cool because she's like, we'll rebuild, and she's like, and then I'll return my kingdom to what it was. And she doesn't have a sense of like, I'll come back and get revenge. She's like, I'll serve my people, and I'll serve my changelings, and do what it takes to make them happy. And it's like, isn't that what a queen is meant to do? And that's like the end of the thing. So it basically flipped her understanding of how she should be running her queendom. And it's really cool because it really portrayed, like, she's brutal at the beginning. Like, when they're marching and ones are dying left and right, she's like, if they died now, then it was because they were too weak to make the trip. And if they were too weak to make the trip, then it was better that they didn't make it anyways, because they would be useless once they got there. And it's like, dang, Chrysalis. So this was a really mean Chrysalis, like, originally, because Chrysalis in Integration really cared about her children. Like, they were connected to her, and she was like their mother. And this was like a dictator Chrysalis who realized that she was wrong, and that she should change the way she was. And in the end, she did. Her pride went away, and she realized that wasn't the way that you should treat your subjects. And I really liked it. I thought it was a really, really good short story. Chrysalis is a really, really good character. She's very versatile. You could make her absolutely terribly evil, and you just don't like her and want her to die. And you could make her reform, and then you're like, I feel bad for her, and I want her to be happy. So, this story did good. The only issue I had with the entire story was probably the drones VA. He wasn't bad, but they put sometimes they put really strong voice changers on them, and his was really strong, so it was hard to understand some of his words. But everybody else did great. Twilight, Rarity, Applejack, Chrysalis, all perfect VAs. And it was really enjoyable. I liked it. I'd say it was great. 4 out of 5 stars, and very good. Very great.